Hello, everybody. The one thing that we didn't put on yesterday's introduction was that I'm also the chair of the CentOS Alternative Images SIG. We didn't want to abbreviate that anymore because AI SIG just did not seem right. We had to put AI in there this time. Okay, it's our yearly SIG update or semi-annual SIG update. What does our SIG do? One of the things I do on the CentOS stream side is make the images for the CentOS stream. One of the reasons this got started was because we have your net install thing, which is really small and it has to be done over the internet, and you have a 10 gig DVD, and I kept asking, can I make a smaller one, some minimal? And they said no, and they said, but there you can make a SIG. So I did. And the alternative, the hyperscale SIG has actually been working with me, and a lot of them are in the SIG. So our goal is to build alternative images for CentOS Stream. Whenever possible, and thus far it has always been possible, we're building it on the CentOS SIG infrastructure. That's really a big thing because we don't want to say, well, was your laptop really in okay condition to be building that things? So what have we been doing this is actually just this quarter. This quarter we got our updates out for the 9 images. So currently for CentOS Stream 9, we have live images that are the Cinnamon, boot into Cinnamon, GNOME, KDE, Mate or Mate, however you want to pronounce it, XFCE, and my favorite, which is the Max, that has all the desktops, all of those desktops, plus a few more that don't do well with live images. And my second favorite is Min, which is text-based live image. That's actually what I use the most, because when I need to boot into something, I don't need the GUI stuff. I just want to boot in. We also updated our WSL images for Windows users. That was really good. If you haven't seen previous slides, I did a demo on how to do the WSL. But the big news this January is we have our first CentOS Stream 10 live images. So we only have GNOME and KDE right now because those are the only desktops in EPEL, or as some want to call EPEL, or whatever. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But EPEL, how's that? That's even better. As we get more desktops in there in EPEL, then we'll build more and more live images. A couple of them, the fact that there's no X has slowed down a couple of them. We also have the WSL for 10 images. All of these images currently are for x86-64 and ARCH-64 only. It's very much like hyperscale. Nobody's asked for the other images, and to be honest, I don't know a single person who's used our ARCH-64 images, but we make them. So what do they look like? This is, majority of this talk, just so you know, is going to be a demo, but I want you to see what all these are. This is CentOS Stream 10 live minimum image. This is actually blown up quite a bit because otherwise you can't see it. But hey, you boot into a machine, you got CentOS Stream 10. Wait, no, that wasn't. Sorry. I should look at my slides while I'm doing them. This is our WSL 10 image running on Windows. But it is also blown up because you can't read it, because obviously I can. Anyway, this is running on 10. It works great. Thanks to all of those that got the WSL stuff. I think some of it's hyperscale, some of it's probably Neil, but I know there's other people that helped. It was so easy. And wow, it was amazing. Okay, this is the Min one that I mainly use. You boot up, there is an install the hard drive. You can do the install it text-based, and it just works. One note on the 10 install the hard drive. It does on the text-based. It installs it and all that, and then it says, okay, hit enter to finish. And then you get this error. Don't worry about the error. It still worked. But to head off any tickets that start coming my way, it's a known function. It's not a bug. It actually doesn't crash. It just gives you this weird SE Linux warning, even though the SE Linux stuff works. I do run with SE Linux on. It was on before, it's on after. After the install, the SE Linux stuff works. But it gives you this weird SE Linux warning. But it installs. We're working on that, so don't worry about that. This is what GNOME looks like. For those of you who've installed CentOS Stream 10, it looks very similar. It's just we got the little, can you see my mouse on the thing? You can. We got the little install the hard drive there. It looks great, but you know, this is what really looks good. This is our KDE version. As those of you who might have missed the talk yesterday, there's this little icon down here. Says, looks like a little Firefox. So again, we have Firefox in there. This was something we were concerned about, and literally the last minute as I'm making these images, it got put in, and I was like, yes. So anyway, KDE Live looks great. I happen to love that background. Wait, I went too. And we also have our Macs. There's GNOME Classic, GNOME, and Plasma currently right now for 10 Macs. We also have the 9 images. I'm going to go through them just so you can see. We got our Cinnamon Live. We got our GNOME Live. This is what it looked like for 9. These are for 9. GNOME Live looks good. KDE Live 9. I like that one, that background. The XFCE, by far my favorite background. The little mouse is cute. It's not a penguin, but it's still cute. So this actually shows all the ones we've got. This no longer has, okay, here's what it, here's what it used to look like. GNOME, anyway. And we fixed that. We fixed that bug. It now just lists, I mean, there's still several GNOME things, but it just lists the actual GNOME desktop, so it's not duplicating them. So we fixed that. Okay, and this is the old Live. Looks like the new one, except for it says 9. And this was the WSL 9. So, what do we see in our future? This slide might look familiar of those of you who looked at me. We are still working on persistent media. That is the holy grail that we're looking for. We're still working on raw images for ART64 or x86-64. Flipping that, I don't know anybody who uses raw images in x86-64 on purpose other than testing, but we're going to make them because I can test on those. I don't have any ART64. Not on this slide because they only came up during this conference and I didn't get a chance to do this. We're going to work on the WSL next generation. I wish they had done, when Microsoft had updated WSL, I wish they'd done it to like to 3 or like 2.5, but having a point release upgrade to have some major functionality isn't. Anyway, there's a new way of doing WSL. It will make it easier to install and stuff like that. We'll start working on that. So like I said, it's not on this slide. The other thing is, I should have said the other thing first. Oh boy, what was it? Anyway, there's other things we're working on. Now, for what people really want to see is the demo. I'm not going to show this next slide until we go to the demo. Those who were observant might have noticed something about my laptop this time. Come on. Come on. There we are. Yeah. Yeah, that's just a CentOS background on a Windows machine, and it is Windows 11. So we're going to do a WSL demo this time. So those of you who are concerned about me being hacked, I have no network on this machine. Because let's be honest. Well, this isn't like a black hat thing, but we're gonna start with the command prompt, run it as administrator. Yes. Okay. The font is really small on this, and I realize that. And wow, I can type. I'm just going to show you what I've got on there. CentOS Stream 9, Ubuntu, and CentOS Stream 10. Here's a fun thing about CentOS Stream 10 and Rel 10. It does x86-64_3. If you they can be new chips. Intel does not support that on all of their newer chips. So you can be running a Windows 11 laptop and not be able to run Rel 10. And I have that. So we're going to be doing CentOS Stream 9. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to badmouth anybody who helped implement that, but anyway, I'll get off that soapbox. I have CentOS Stream 9 set up, and there's a few things I wanted to show on this. First off, CentOS Stream 9, I've already installed Firefox, but I'm on a Windows machine. Yeah. WSL 9, or CentOS Stream 9, on a Windows machine will do graphics. And it will do Firefox. And to be honest, it does do Wayland too, for those who are wondering. I have tested this with the CentOS Stream 10 thing. It's just that my laptop doesn't have that. Firefox, come on, stop. We want to show something else. Okay. So we do have a question, but I'm gonna. The question is that out of the box? Good, because I was gonna. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, that was completely out of the box. I typed in Firefox and I was like, what? I didn't do anything. So yes. The other question is, does it have hardware acceleration? And I haven't a clue. This machine has got just an Intel chip. It itself barely has hardware acceleration. So another question, and this actually came up in another meeting, and I didn't answer it on purpose. Does KDE run on it? I cannot get. Somebody else might be able to, but I cannot get the full desktop of KDE to run on it. And on using the CentOS Stream 10, majority of the KDE apps do run on it. The exceptions are things. The exception I found was I was trying to do a screenshot. So you guys don't need me and names. The KDE screenshots is whatever it is. Spectacle, yeah, because that's easy to remember. It does not work on it, but my Kwrite, all my Office stuff did work on it. But this is CentOS Stream 9. And the KDE stuff really doesn't work on it. 10 it does, 9 it doesn't. But some not all GNOME stuff, but some GNOME stuff does. So if we do Nautilus, because let's be honest, I prefer using a Linux file browser versus a Windows file browser. And also be honest, I prefer KDEs, but we're going to do this. And this is also out of the box. I don't know if you guys have used WSL or not, but out of the box, it will mount your Windows drives under /mount. So we have this C drive right here, and I can go into my Windows thing and look at that, and I can go, hey, what's under this test thing? And look, there's this presentation, so we can just do, open this up. What'll it open up with? Oh, that's right, GNOME has an actual open up or a document viewer. So, thank you, GNOME, for not having any, sorry, I should not diss GNOME people. GNOME is a good desktop. It is a good desktop, and it is way better than the other one that I'm trying to cover up right now. But then we can use our GNOME things, and we can go down and see the other slide that I said I was going to wait for. There we are. So, how to do it? As somebody asked, is this straight out of the box? Yes, you use the Alternative Images does have a page on how to install these things. It's simple. It's 3 steps. Download the image, WSL install, and we've got the things to put in there. With the new way, it will be much easier to just do WS install the tarball, but now there's some extra stuff. And then WSL run, and we've got a few extra commands for things like that. So right out of the box, you get graphics. One word of warning, don't try to run it as root. That's when you start getting errors. Those of you who saw my last WSL thing, we were trying to run it as root. That was, if we hadn't been running it as root, we would have been surprised on YouTube. It would have been a genuine surprise. So CentOS Stream 9, some things work, some things don't. Like I said, Nautilus works, Firefox works. I purposely didn't open up those images. GNOME's image viewer doesn't work. I'm not going to debug it, but it doesn't. If you want a really good experience, do CentOS Stream 10. The graphics work really good. The Wayland stuff works really good. But not everything. Like I said, the Spectre, it says something about dbus issues. So I said Spectre, it's Spectacle. I have a question over here. Can you hand them a mic?
So I think I know why those weren't working, and it's because, and also why you couldn't launch a KDE desktop in your WSL environment. There is a command that you can run as part of launching any of the KDE applications that need dbus, and it's called Plasma dbus run session if needed, and it checks if dbus is running, and if not, it will start it and bind it to the process that you're trying to run. And that will let you run the Plasma desktop as well as Spectacle and the other things. And the reason I know this is that if you remember last year from Flock, when I was and at Texas Linux Fest when I was doing the Cloud KDE talks, though that's what I used to run KDE over the internet with RDP with Weston, and this is just Weston, so all of that will work the same way.
Thank you very much. We will get that written up and put it on the documentation page because that will be cool. I'll be honest, I don't have very many Windows machines. I have one. I use it for gaming. And I know you can do Fedora gaming. You saw me on the slides. Adam was trying to tell me that does gaming. But, hey, Fortnite doesn't like Linux. Anyway, At this point, we're at questions and answers, or do you want to see more demo stuff? Or we could get out of here early for lunch. Or, no, it's not lunch, is it?
No, it's a break, but we'll have a long break at this
We'll
point.
have a long break. We do have one question.
Any other desktop environments you've tried, like inventory? Thank you.
The question was, are there any others that you have tried? Are you asking about WSL specifically? No, I have not tried any others. Yeah, I've tried GNOME KDE. When Fedora WSL comes out, yes, I will be trying probably every Fedora desktop, which there is many. But good question, thank you. Sure.
Thank you. This runs on Weston, so it doesn't run on Wayland yet.
Yeah, Weston is
So natively on Wayland.
yeah. So this is natively on Wayland. One thing I didn't show because I'm not a Windows person and I don't know how to get this back up again, but there is a WSL settings, and one of the settings, which is on by default, is graphics. One of them is can your thing do thing virtualization inside virtualization.
Nested vert.
Nested virtualizations. There's several buttons, and I believe one of them actually was a Wayland in the X setting. But by default, they are all turned on, which is handy and nice.
Yeah, that last setting is, do you want X11 applications to work? And by default, it's on, but you could turn it off if you don't like the implications of an X11 server that is somehow talking through RDP to Windows. The way that WSL works is that there is a fork of Weston being used as a rootless compositor using RDP to talk to DWM, which is the Windows compositor, to be able to run the applications on there. So you can do Wayland applications, you can run Wayland desktops in windowed mode or in full screen mode, as long as you're aware of how to invoke it to talk to the native Weston compositor that then forwards everything over to the Windows desktop.
So it uses RDP internally?
Yes, RDP, RIALL, I think is what it is. The remote effects stuff for the Windows application thingy that they do for Azure, that's the same technology.
So you can run this remotely?
Yes, that's how it's done for Azure, for Windows apps on Azure.
So those that didn't hear, his question was about can you run this remotely, and Neil was answering that question. Yep.
Does the X11 server run a system?
If
That's terrifying.
yes,
Great.
that's why it's a checkbox that you could turn off.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I'm showing the settings things, but I haven't hit them all. Okay, so yeah. This is, let's see if this one actually comes up. No, if you see in the background, it's saying, no, the application doesn't work. So show photo doesn't work. Let's try, I know Ocular doesn't work, or Gwenview. What about color paint? Oh. No, that's what I'm trying. The GNOME image.
None of those worked.
No,
So it's failing to.
on 10 it does. All of them work, both GNOME and KDEs. At least for GNOME, simple things like image viewers and stuff like that. Things that need the dbus, no. But for 9, it's limited. So if you want graphics, I say go for the 10 image. It's up there. It works. It works great. You were going to say something, Neil?
I was just going to say that the reason that all of them are failing is that on 9, for some reason, it is not correctly detecting the Wayland socket to connect to when you are launching an application from another application. So it works. It seems to, well, except for that one, which I actually think is running as an X11 application. Which
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
it is.
there's
in their
terrifying
office.
things going on in here.
Yeah, if you guys want to actually see all the errors, yeah, it's every
Yeah, so
time I
it's
hit
trying
that.
to load it as an X11 application, it's failing, and it can't find the Wayland platform, so it's failing to do anything.
Yep. Yeah, it's saying all sorts of things. If this machine, this is another thing. So if your chipset cannot run Rel 10 or CentOS Stream 10, don't just try to put it in WSL. It still will not run. It will look at it and go, you don't have the right chipset.
Another question is that user RDP. Have you run any preliminary performance benchmarks on this?
You have to ask him. He's the one with the Windows computer.
Well, no.
Sorry, that
And
question goes to
that
the
sort
two
of
of you.
goes along with the hardware acceleration.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the performance implication because RDP, at least the little I know about RDP, is not the most performant protocol.
Play SuperTux card. We'll find out.
Go ahead, yes.
I do not have that installed. That actually sounds like a good idea. I don't have it installed, and I do not have network on in this machine.
Fair enough. No, I was
This
just
is the
wondering.
Black Hat conference, but
I mean,
as
it
soon
all
as
looks
it's getting wiped as soon as.
it all looks very interesting, but there seem to be a couple of caveats. So,
Yes.
but it does look interesting, and thank you very much.
Yeah, there is some caveats, but it is, and I really wish I had the 10 machine, and then I could do. But we'll get with Neil afterwards. We'll get that command up on our documentation, and I look forward to next time. This Windows machine will just be running KDE, except for this thing doesn't run 10. Anyway, this Windows machine will be running.
So, final question from my side. This is
Okay.
a 24H2 with regards to the Windows build.
Which
It's
Windows
Win
build?
11, exactly.
It's 11. It was updated like a week before.
That must be 25H2, which is the latest build in that case.
I believe so. I don't do any development thing, but it is the latest
Just
Windows.
asking. Okay.
But I also ran these on my Windows 10 machine. My gaming machine is a 10 machine because I won't get into that pile of thing. I think I've already said enough negative things about it, enough communities to be bad. But it does run on 10. And I can verify after I get home whether Neil's command will let me run. That will be cool. Have my KDE desktop on my 10 machine. Sorry, that just sounds cool. Any other questions? I think we're almost out of time now. No? Oh. I talk fast. And I break things. That's how you learn. That's what. This has nothing to do with alt images, but in life, go ahead and break things, but also learn how to bring them back. So break things safely, and it's good. Okay, thank you very much.